added this one because of my attempt to do the 5th level of flare-on, which I've not finished, but I had to use this technique to make what progress I did, and I realized this was no longer in my class. It was in my class years ago, and I had to update it substantially. So here's how you add more code to a portable executable, which is a lot of fun. So we're going to use PuTTY again, and I've already got PuTTY on this machine, I think, the same PuTTY we've used in previous projects. I think I made a clean copy of it in my documents folder. Yep, there's PuTTY. I'm pretty sure that's right. I'm going to copy with Control-C and put it on my desktop with Control-V. And now I should have a copy of it to work with, and I do. So the first thing, of course, is to calculate the hash value to make sure I've got a good PuTTY and not one that's already been hacked. So the MD5 starts at BA7, and if I look at the project instructions, if I can get back to it, it's here, there. All right, the SHA-256 is 9F9. Okay, fine. I didn't calculate the MD5. I probably at this time thought the MD5 was unreliable. I got over that later. The SHA-256 does in fact start with 9F9. So this is a good PuTTY that hasn't been messed with. So the first thing I'm going to do is make another copy of it so I have the original. All right. And I'm going to call this PuTTY, go there and press F2. There, PuTTY 2. All right. Now let's go back to my instructions. All right, and so I'm going to add a section with CFF Explorer, and I'm going to move these instructions over to the side some. Don't think I have another good screen to put them on. All right, so they said name it PuTTY bad. I guess I'll do that, and we'll go to CFF Explorer. All right, let's change that name to PuTTY bad. All right, and now open it in CFF Explorer. And here we're going to see the characteristics. So this is part of where I thought I could see that's open with CFF Explorer. Yeah, I used to use a tool called Lord PE for this, but CFF Explorer is a much nicer, friendlier tool to do this. So we can go to File Header and Characteristics. All right, and there they are. And what I wanted to find here is relocation info is stripped from file. If you go here, you can see that's checked. So this file will not relocate anymore. The relocation info has been removed. So that's something to know. So this one will always load at the expected location. We can use, that's important because we're going to use absolute references to jump into our malware. And if this thing was going to move with address space layout randomization, that technique would not work. But this tells me it's always going to load at 400,000, its normal base. So that's fine. Now, I'm going to add a new section. So you open it with CFF Explorer, and you go to Section Headers. And here they are. Here's the sections. Text, RData, Data, and Resource. And you can just right-click here and add a new section. And I'm going to add one that's just empty space. There are other choices, but empty space will do. And now I can give it a name, and I'm going to call it .trojan. Because I'm not subtle, we're going to put malware in there. Oh, maybe I didn't know what that box was. All right, just a moment. What have I done? I should have paid attention to what that box was. Oh, add section, empty space. And it says, put a space after, no, I had to put a size in it. Okay. I could put a size in later. But let me just, I think I can delete this. Right-click, delete section, header and data. All right, now let's try again. Add section, empty space, and make it 1000 in hex, the usual size. That'll give me plenty of space. Now here's where I put the name of the section, which is .trojan. I don't know if you can leave the name blank. I didn't try. But you can put dot something there, and then it will look normal. All right. All right, so we're ready. We now have a section named .trojan. Now, we're going to check the section flags because I plan to put code in there and execute it. I need to see whether that code is executable. And it is right now not executable, it's readable and writable. So I have to make it executable, and if I don't want to be super suspicious, I'll turn off writable. Nothing should be executable and writable. That's a violation of Microsoft's recommended security policy. They don't enforce it, but a lot of anti-malware processes will catch that. That's pretty suspicious to have something writable and executable. So one or the other is more normal. And all I care about is being able to execute it. I don't plan to write in there during execution of the code. So now I'm done. Now I can just save it. Okay, I'm overwriting it because the copy called bad, And now I've got putty bad, which contains a new section. Now I can put the data in there with Ollie. So let's load this thing with Ollie. All right. And let's get rid of this garbage. And it's on my desktop. It's called Putty Bad. All right, there it is. And by the way, let's take a look at the memory and make sure it loaded in the expected place. And it did at 400,000. So and by the way, notice here's the new section. At 484,000 is the Trojan. All right, so let's go back to the code section. And we're going to go to the place we found before where there's the instruction that prints login on the screen. By the way, it said look at the Trojan first. Let's take a look. I don't know if this is going to be the same as before or not. This was pretty funny when I saw this. So this Trojan is the section we just added. And if you dump it, it's actually empty because remember I made a section and deleted it. But if you didn't do that strange step, it would be full of junk. This is where they put the signature which it seems to ignore. And you can tell because some of it's readable, add trust, external CA root. That's the digital signature for the file. For some reason, it's just sitting there outside the sections. And when you create a section, it's covering that. Now, the digital signature doesn't seem to matter, so I don't mind stomping on it. Anyway, so I'm just going to replace some of that with malware and run it. So we're going to redirect code execution by going to 41C B6E, which is the same location we've messed around in previous projects. So let's go here and right-click, go to expression, and it's 41C B6E, I think. Yep, that's pushing the word login as on the stack. Then it's going to call a function and print login as. So I'm going to replace that function with jump 484,000. So I just hit spacebar and jump 484,000. So that is going to do an unconditional jump to the new section called 484,000. Now I want to go change the data in 484,000, but it would be better to do these things one at a time. Remember I said when you save something in Ollie Debug, it will only save the changes in the current section. So first I'm going to save this with right-click, save, copy to executable, all modifications, copy all. All right, and I'm going to save it as, I'm going to make this putty bad 2 because I always like to keep a trail of things so I can go back a step if I foul it up. So there's one that's going to jump there. Now I'm going to change the data up there. So I'm going to go to here. I'm going to get to 484,000. There's a lot of ways to get there, but the simplest way is just take this jump and follow it. Right click. I can follow in dump. Should be immediate constant, should be an option. Right click, follow in dump. Maybe selection will work, but follow in dump. Oh, I just want to go to. Hold on, I'm thinking. Go to, there we are. Go to. Let me see what I put in the instructions. I thought there was an easy way to do it. Right click and follow. Okay. Okay, it's a jump, so I can just follow. I knew there was a way to get there. Follow. Okay. There. Now I'm there. Now it's all full of zeros, but I can just put code in here by right click and entering it. And what I'm going to do is put in an int 3. I just want to put a breakpoint here for now. So spacebar gives me the assembly, and I can assemble an int 3, and so that turns it into a 03. And then it puts a CD there. I don't know why. The zero. I guess CD03 is the way it likes to make int 3. I'm used to it being CC, but I guess this is another way to do the same thing. So I'll cancel this. So that should do it. Now, we're just going to run it in Ollie Debug. So debug, run. And the program launches. And it's going to ask me for a host to connect to. So I put in ad.samsclass.info and open. And now it tried to pop it up and it jumped here and it hit int3 command. Int3 command at puttybad 484,000. So the point of this was I proved that the code execution redirection worked, and it executed code there. It ran a int that I put there. So I was not prevented from executing code in the new section. And now Microsoft turned it off to punish me for having no license, but that's good. It's a fairly convenient time for that to happen. I just saved my program, so I'm not going to lose anything. Let me open it up again. And I just wanted to see how bad the punishment was. If you activate your machine, as in the instructions, you'll get something like 90 days. But I've used this one so much that I've used up all that. And it's not too bad. Like if you just re-extract one from your zip file and make a new machine, you'll be ready to get another 90 days. And you can reactivate it 3 or 4 times. So you can get 90 days or 180 days times 3 or 4. So you have to use it a lot to use up all the time, which I have done. All right, I think it's started up now. Let's see if I can get the console. All right, good. All right, and now all we have to do is put shellcode in. So I used MSF Venom to make shellcode, which is just part of the Metasploit framework. You can run it on Windows, you can run it on Kali, but that's not part of this project really, so I just made it for you. This will make simple shell bind code, which will start listening on port 4444, and it will come in. Int3 without the space. Yeah, that's probably what I should have done. Int3 without the space would have come up as CC. Thanks. Anyway, now because of it restarting, it didn't keep that change anyway. So here's the shellcode. And you can put it in HXD. You certainly don't want to try putting all that junk in Ollie, although you might be able to paste into a binary dump in Ollie. But I'm just going to do it with HXD. This is the simple way to modify something. So let's run HXD, simple hex editor. Oh, whoa, I spelled it wrong. And I'm just going to look for something wrong and go crazy places. All right, let's do start HXD. There we go. All right, now I'm going to open PuttyBad 2. I'm going to go to my desktop. And there it is, PuttyBad 2. All right, now I want to go to 484,000. Which I think has a different address in this view, because remember, it's 484,000 in memory running, and as you remember from before, it takes the segments and sort of spreads them out when it loads them in memory. They're more crunched together on the disk. So that segment is actually at 800,000 or 80,000. All right, so let's get there. I'll just go to the end. I thought I'd go to the end. I'll drag it down this way. Looking for 80,000. There's 80 FF0, there's 75, so it's pretty much right at the end, which makes sense. I go up. Okay, there's 80,000. Now I just want to scroll down a little bit so I can see it more conveniently. Now I right-click 80,000 and paste right. And I did not, I have to have the instructions open inside that virtual machine, of course. I can't copy and paste from the Mac into there. This Proxmox console does not give me that ability. An RDP session probably would. But anyway, I just need to copy the code inside this virtual machine. So this is 402. 404, good, thank you. Yeah, 404, good. And I have to go down to find that binary code. There it is. All right, so I copy the first section. It was more than I could fit on my screen. I think that's why I decided doing it in sections would be better. All right, and now I paste right at 800,000 or 80,000. Paste right. Okay, and there it goes up to there. Now I get the next section and put it right after it. copy, Alt-Tab, and paste right. All right, and so it should end up at FFD5 at 7. Hopefully I got a picture of it. Just want to make there. At the bottom of this is FFD5 at 7. Okay, I think I didn't screw it up, so I'm going to save this. And now, when I run that putty bad, it should have malware in it, and it should start listening. So, all I do is let's have a command prompt available, and let's start with, actually an administrator command prompt would be more fun. Let's open administrator command prompt so we can see the name of running executables. And now that I have an administrator command prompt, I can run netstat minus ban. And I'll pipe it to more so it doesn't go off the screen. All right, this shows me things that are listening and the name of the thing that's listening, 135, 445, 3389. And the point is, there are various Windows services listening on ports, but there's nothing listening on 4444. That's what I want to see. And so when I run this program, putty bad, this is like the backup. It makes a backup when you save it. That's all right. I'm going to run this one. Okay. Now I have to give it the name of a server to connect to, like ad.samsclass.info, and then open. And now it tries to launch that box, and now it's going to run the malware instead, and never get back there because I didn't write good code that would go back and maintain the original functionality. And now I'm listening on 4444. PuttyBad 2 is now listening on 4444, and anybody can connect to this machine and take it over. So I could do it here with ncat on localhost on 4444. And notice I'm in C Windows System 32, but when I connect, now I'm in C User Student Desktop. I moved from here to there. And besides, I was the administrator, but I'm not anymore. Now I'm whoever ran PuttyBad, which is student. So I got the privileges of that program and the environment of that program, and anybody that can connect to my network would have the same thing, which is one of the many reasons why you run firewalls. So nobody can connect to your server on unexpected ports, so they can't use this kind of attack. So I can exit from there, and that's going to close it. And now I'm back to where I was with an administrator command prompt. So that's what I wanted to show you. That's how you can modify the execution of a program by adding another section. So you can now add a lot of functionality to any program you want. And that's what I had to do for part 5 of the flare-on. Anyway, a good thing to know how to do. So let me stop this recording.